Lawmakers working on a new round of coronavirus relief want to expand access to those who've been hardest by the pandemic. You see, the way the first relief package was distributed to hospitals didn't take into account the Medicare Advantage plans that hospitals in underserved communities often rely on. Now, new legislation is hoping to change that. Joining me now is Florida Congresswoman Debbie Mucarsel-Powell. Congresswoman, talk to me about the first round of relief, the way those funds were distributed, and what you think they got wrong.
Well, what we've seen is that a lot of hospital systems, for example, have not been able to get the funding that we passed initially, over $100 billion, to provide testing relief, treatment relief for those hospitals treating COVID-19 patients. But what I want to point out is that what we're seeing now, which is very troubling, is that minority populations, communities of color, are being disproportionately affected by COVID-19. And COVID-19 has proven to be the perfect storm affecting the Latino and Hispanic communities. So I actually have introduced the Medicare Advantage COVID-19 Treatment Act that would cover treatment, COVID-19 treatment, for those who participate in Medicare Advantage. And this is particularly important in my district. In Florida, we have over 2 million people that rely on Medicare Advantage for their health care, but also in Puerto Rico. It's about 700,000 Puerto Ricans rely on Medicare Advantage to receive treatment for COVID-19.
To that end, 13 members of the Hispanic Caucus sent a letter to HHS urging the federal government to help Puerto Rico battle this outbreak. It reads, "It is imperative that the federal government provide the tools necessary during this pandemic to sustain the availability of beds, testing, and surge capacity to care for the U.S. citizens in Puerto Rico." Pre-COVID, was Puerto Rico equipped to handle a crisis of this magnitude?
No, we already saw Puerto Rico still hurting from Hurricane Maria. We have been advocating and putting pressure on FEMA to release those funds to provide relief for Puerto Rico. Then the series of earthquakes that destroyed the island. So their public infrastructure was already at a breaking point. And it is very concerning that Puerto Rico has the lowest level of testing than any other state in the United States. We need to support our Puerto Rican brothers and sisters that are suffering right now through the pandemic. Just last week, they got affected by another earthquake. So it's incredible to me, Alicia, the lack of response by the administration to support Americans living in the island. They're American citizens. I want to remind everyone, our Puerto Rican brothers and sisters have gone through enough, and they need the help and support, which is why I'm very proud to have joined Chairman Castro on that letter asking the administration to provide relief for the island.
You penned an op-ed with your fellow representatives Garcia and Escobar in the Houston Chronicle about how hard the Latino community has been hit by this virus. How are you hoping to protect those who are most vulnerable? What do you want to see in this next round of relief that can really be targeted at this community?
Look, what we've seen is that about a third of our Latino communities have lost their jobs. They don't get paid sick leave. They are uninsured. We cannot leave our Latino community behind. I represent a district that has 70% Hispanics that live here. And COVID-19 has really lifted the veil of the inequities that we have been facing. We need to provide resources through mobile clinics going into these communities to test our communities. We need to make sure that we provide hazard pay for those workers, essential workers, many of them, most of them, Latinos and African Americans that are going every single day to make sure that they're taking care of patients that are affected by COVID, that are making sure that they're stocking our supermarkets so that we can go and purchase the items that we need. We need to protect these workers. We need to provide them with the right equipment and provide treatment for them. Another thing that I also want to highlight is that the Trump administration has really created fear among Latino communities, which is why I've seen that there are a lot of Latinos that are hesitant to go and get tested or to go and get the treatment that they need because they fear that either they're going to be charged with the public charge rule or many of them, they're living in mixed status families, fear that they're going to be deported.
Representative Mucarsel-Powell, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alicia.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.